Kia ora, g'day, welcome back here with another Q&A as part of this series. And this one's come through from Solly again in the comments of one or two of the other series videos, Q&A series videos that I've put up. And he's got in here, is it unusual for there to be open negativity towards SAS candidates? So the directing staff being negative towards SAS candidates. And is that unusual? I guess, is that unusual behavior? No, it's not. So you will get directing staff who will be very critical and maybe, dare I say, applying more overt type pressure to individuals during or candidates during a selection course. It's not uncommon at all. It does happen, although there is, I would say, predominantly the predominant approach is more than likely more neutral, as you've mentioned, I think, and further down in your comments. It is more common for there to be a no positive and or very limited negative, or probably more correctly, I would say, there may be a more implied negative connotation towards towards candidates from the directing staff. What do I mean by that? In terms of the communication when a directing staff is talking to a candidate, there's definitely no positive praise or anything, but the questioning and the tone and the way things are communicated from a directing staff to a candidate that's looking to join the unit may give the sense and feeling that intentionally by the directing staff, they'll give and project a deliberate sense or feeling towards the candidate that they are probably or potentially not doing very well, and causing them to potentially second guess their decisions, second guess where they are on the map, second guess how they're looking to approach and conduct the task. Like, those things are pretty normal. And therefore, to your question, is it unusual for there to be open negativity towards SAS candidates? Again, I would say no, it's not unusual at all. I had open negativity towards me at various stages during the Australian SAS selection. I probably had it, although I can't think of any. Probably did have openly, negative communication to me as a candidate on the New Zealand selection. You know, getting punished, getting grilled for a bit, and then getting driven back 3 kilometres and that sort of thing. When I got caught on the on the closed country navigation during selection, you know, I took that as fairly negative. Being as the directing staff being fairly negative towards me, and I didn't know if that meant that I was going to ultimately fail at the end. But you know what? I didn't care. Like, well, it's not that I didn't care. Like, to me, that wasn't enough to make me quit. Like, having those, oh no, I'm probably not going to be allowed to progress onto the cycle. You know, I had already resigned myself to the fact that there was a high probability, being a young person, that I was probably going to have to go through and do selection again, and that I probably wouldn't get selected for the cycle. So having that understanding for me personally, and then having the drive to know that I'm going to come back and do this again. Like, you can reject me, but if I complete this, or when I complete this and get to the end and I get rejected, I'm reapplying and coming back and doing it again and again and again, as many times as I'm allowed to, until such time as I get here. That's just the wiring in my head that I had. So to have negativity from an SAS directing staff is not uncommon. In Australia, I was getting chewed out because I wasn't able to keep up with the push-ups. I think it might have been only the second set of 50 push-ups. Salty was running the bloody push-ups at that time, early hours in the morning, outside in our ranks, and just straight into it. And we had to count out the reps as we went through. First set wasn't too bad, but I was like, oh yeah, okay, maybe we'll do a different exercise, or maybe we'll have a bit of a stretch or a bit of a breather, get punished with something else, maybe go for a run instead, which would give some of the lactic acid a bit of a chance to get out of the shoulders and arms and chest and stuff, and then do some more push-ups. But nah, it was like a short break, and then we're back down, cracked out another 50, short break, down another 50. And I think we ended up doing, well, not me, because I wasn't able to keep up with all the push-ups in the end. I think by the second set of 50, I was really struggling by the time we got to around about 20. And the directing staff, like, I wasn't the only one, but if it can feel like you're the only one when the directing staff comes down next to you and they start, ripping into you and telling you, why can't you keep up? Did you prepare for this? No, you haven't prepared. Starting to try to plant seeds of doubt and making you realize that there is a big spotlight on you right now and you are not doing really well, and the directing staff are going to let you hear about it. There may have been some colorful names used to describe my state or my lack of perceived physical preparation for the selection, in terms of not being able to keep up. And this is only the second set of, I didn't know it was going to be another set of 50. I thought maybe it was going to be a drop set or something. So we did 50, maybe it was going to be 40, then 30, then 20, then 10. To be honest, I didn't know how many sets we were going to do, but every set that Salty got us to do after a short breather was sets of 50. And that was a miserable experience in terms of, not miserable in terms of the activity, push-ups, miserable for me personally, in the sense that I felt like I now had this big spotlight on me because I wasn't able to keep up. And we're only 2 sets in. So you can imagine what sets 3 and 4 were like as I really started to struggle. And there's no way I completed the 200 plus push-ups that Salty got us to do at that time, which was just one part of the activities. It was a bit of a relief when we got into being beasted with other physical activities, but that's one part that stands out. Another time that stands out in the Australian selection for me was one of the water crossings that I struggled with. Well, I've spoken about where Nick stuck by me and helped me get across to the other side, because my hoochie that I had been issued had holes in it, and so it wasn't serving as a very good flotation device when I wrapped up our packs and all that sort of stuff like we'd been trained, and then put it in the water. It started out okay, and then it started to sink, and we still had a fair distance to get across that particular, I want to say, was it like a lake or something? Lake/river, that sort of water crossing anyway, whereby I couldn't touch the bottom. And so the directing staff with some support staff in the safety boat right next to, obviously the stragglers, which was me, and unfortunately by association, Nick Caldwell was guilty of being a straggler by association because he was next to me. But I think it was pretty clear to see from the directing staff's perspective that he was there helping me. So I don't recall him getting specifically targeted or mentioned, but I certainly did, and being told, like, you want to get in this boat, you might as well just hop in this boat. You're dragging the chain, you're slowing everybody down, etc., etc. It wasn't loud. That part wasn't any loud yelling from memory. The guy spoke pretty calmly, actually. But again, like, I'm not getting in that boat. Like, I'm going to drown before I get in that boat. That's just where my head was. And I didn't think I was going to drown, but that was the mindset that I had. Like, I'm not getting in your stupid little boat. Like, I'll drown before I hop in that thing. Those are the thoughts running through my head while I'm having the words from the directing staff saying, listen, mate, you're dragging the chain. How about you just hop in the boat, call it quits? You've gone as far as you can. Like, just maybe come back another time when you're better prepared, and when you can, I can't remember what else he said. I think he spoke about when you're better prepared, and perhaps when you can float better, or words to that effect, or maybe said swim better or something. But anyway, those things, that wasn't yelling and screaming. Some of the push-up stuff I was getting yelled at felt terrible, miserable. But again, I wasn't the only one. At the same time, I've witnessed other people during selection in Australia in particular getting chewed out. I felt a heck of a lot worse than me. In regards to their inability to keep up on some of the activities that we were required to do and or expected to do. So, hopefully that helps answer your question. Is it unusual for there to be open negativity towards SAS candidates? No. Probably if I try to sum up, because you have mentioned, you've got here, I've heard DS won't be positive or negative, and that can play a huge part on the mindset and uncertainty of the candidates as well. That's true. If I haven't mentioned already, I think by and large, the vast majority of selection is probably that way inclined. It's probably upwards of 70, 75% plus upwards, whereby directing staff for the most part are neither up or down. They're neither, there's definitely no positive feedback, but there's there's likely very little, or yeah, very little sort of negative, like continuous badgering of negative comments or feedback as well. So I'd say, yeah, probably 70-75% or more of selection is probably run that way. I think the term that George mentions on SASR selection is the silent running. So it's, again, that neither up or down, neither positive or negative, just here's what I need you to do. Here's what you're expected to do. Here's your instructions. Go and do it. Notebook and pen always handy and on hand for the directing staff. And they're always constantly, looking around. You'll see them look down from time to time and take notes. And that does play a massive part, because then you're thinking, oh, crap, are they writing about me? What are they writing about? Oh, no, did they get me not doing this very well? Or did they see me drop this thing? Are they looking at me because they think I'm not pulling my weight in this particular activity, or whatever? Like, there's a whole bunch of things that start running through people's heads, and that plays a part of the selection. The directing staff are writing down a heck of a lot of information about every candidate, and it can be for seemingly what may be perceived as insignificant things: buttons undone, drawstring not done up, clips undone on your webbing and pack, lack of confidence in terms of issuing orders or giving instruction, navigation not up to scratch, in terms of instructions that are given, and then they come around and ask, whereabouts are you on the map? Show me where you are on the map. And if you're not within sort of 50 meters, thereabouts, those things could go against you. This person is potentially just following the pack, doesn't necessarily have a very good idea of where he is. Has he just bluffed his way so far? Potentially need to put this person in charge a bit more to determine whether or not he has leadership capabilities or the ability to lead, and maybe put this person at the front, charge him with the navigation required. Can he actually navigate, or is he just following along with everybody else, etc.? So there's a bunch of stuff that happens, man, to try to get an understanding of the characters that are coming through. And it's different from directing staff to directing staff, and also different in terms of some of the instructions that are given. Again, they've got their own different methodologies, which are tried, tested, and proven, as I've said multiple times before, for how they do things, what they're selecting for, what they're looking at, and their processes for who they determine to go through to the cycle and who doesn't, etc. So, yeah, anyway, that's my take for this one, and we'll see yous on the next video as part of this series.